And the latest CBS News poll shows former President Donald Trump still has a commanding 36-point lead in Iowa. But the race in New Hampshire has suddenly become much closer, with our latest poll showing former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley just 15 points behind. Voters weighed in on their favorite candidates over the weekend.
I feel like Trump would be good to get us out of this mess quick.
I like Trump, but I like his policies. I don't like his personality. I don't like the way he treats people.
When I saw Nikki Haley in the first debate, I was overwhelmed. Like she said in Londonderry, you may not agree with me, but I'm going to say what needs to be said. So on a lot of her items, I don't agree, but I really appreciate her honesty and being upfront and addressing the issues that we're facing right now.
And Anthony Salvanto joins us now to discuss the latest numbers. Anthony, thanks so much for being with us. We always appreciate your time. I want to start with the big question here about the biggest movement we've seen, Nikki Haley. How do you explain her boost in popularity?
Yeah, and I think the way to look at this overall is, yes, Donald Trump still maintains a comfortable lead, but Haley is starting to consolidate some of the non-Trump or the alternative to Trump voters, such as they are. And there's a couple of things behind that. First, look at how she's seen as prepared to be president, on a par with the former president, right? So that's important. And then the other way that voters describe her, at least relative to the other candidates, is as reasonable. And so she's got an advantage there. Both those things are helping underpin her. And the other part of this is she's drawing better support from independents who can vote in the New Hampshire primary, and they're a little more amenable to the idea of a candidate who would be different from Donald Trump. So those are at least two or three things underpinning that.
And I want to ask about what's happening in Iowa, because the race is sort of taking a different direction there. Trump is not just continuing his really big lead. That lead has actually widened since September. Ron DeSantis, we know, spent a lot of time in the state visiting all 99 counties. So why is he still falling short there? So
look, big context is Iowa has always been kind of a test for candidates within the Republican Party who are often further to the right from the party. And it's no different this year. Take a look at the percent of Iowa caucus goers who call themselves members of the MAGA movement, and it's almost half. So Trump starts with a naturally firm, set of support there. The other thing about it is some of the policy ideas that he has presented get even stronger support in Iowa than New Hampshire. For example, deporting undocumented immigrants. You get 85% there in Iowa. Other ideas like making abortion illegal. Look at the very big differences between the Iowa electorate and the caucus and the New Hampshire electorate, where a majority in New Hampshire would say legal in at least some cases, but Iowa, you get that dramatic illegal. So that's just a couple of data points to show that the Iowa electorate and the caucus, it's smaller and it is more conservative often than the New Hampshire primary. Very different electorate, same leader, but for different reasons.
And Anthony, I know this is early days, but we're watching these numbers come out. And Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis both spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources in getting these early states. This battle for second place is sort of brewing right now. And I wonder just how much it matters to be in second place. Does it, when you see someone like Trump have such a formidable lead?
Well, let's take a look at what happens historically. Somebody gets what they call momentum, or it really amounts to media coverage coming out of Iowa. And that media coverage then carries into New Hampshire, where you face, again, a different kind of electorate, a broader one, more independents. But what happens after that is then they're going to go on to Nevada and South Carolina, where, again, they might face smaller Republican and very conservative electorates. So that part of the party is really going to hold sway as you go through the process. Those first two states are really about getting some kind of coverage. And I think in this dynamic, given Trump's commanding lead in these states, but really nationally, you're talking about whether or not the rest of the field can kind of consolidate around maybe one alternative. Though I should note, that alternative to Trump portion in the polling is very clearly less than Donald Trump's support overall. He remains the front runner in all respects.
Yeah, it's a small margin there.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, thanks so much.
You're welcome.